Good morning. I am out in our garlic patch because we are going to harvest our garlic today. We are very excited about this. This is our first year really planting enough garlic to last us through the entire year, hopefully until next summer. So we are at the end of June here. Our weather has been really finicky this June. The last couple of Junes have been this way, where we've had some really hot weather and some really cold weather midway through the month. And for our zone, we're zone 7A. Everything that we've researched and read says about the end of June into July is when you're ready to harvest your garlic. I'll show you some of the signs that our garlic is ready to harvest. But you can already see it's turning brown at the tops. I don't know if you can see, but some of the base leaves are turning brown. But we have both hard neck and soft neck that we've planted this year. We've planted 3 different varieties. That way we can try each of these types of garlics and see what our family likes, what our flavor preferences. My guess is we're not going to really have a huge preference, but that's just a guess. But I want to show you some of the differences that I'm finding as I'm harvesting this garlic between the soft neck and the hard neck, and just kind of show you what our little garlic patch looks like. It's not huge. We probably have 15 to 20 of each of the varieties, if that. But that seems like enough garlic for us to last through until next year. So let's get harvesting and I'll show you what we're doing.
To start off, let me just show you, this is what our garlic looked like in mid-May of this year. So we planted these bulbs, hard and soft neck, about the beginning of November last fall, and they popped up this spring. They have to have a cold snap in order for them to pop up and produce this garlic. So this is what it looked like in May. Now here we are at the end of June, just a couple of weeks before we're getting ready to harvest our garlic. We have to go in and cut these off. These here are what we call garlic scapes. Now you can see I have several rows of garlic. This row right here is my hard neck garlic, and that's the row that actually produces garlic scapes. So these are kind of a flower that come up the middle of the hard neck garlic. You can see it here, it curls, and we actually go in and just chop this off. So I did this for this entire row. And these garlic scapes, they have this kind of bulb in it here that actually turns into a flower. And if I allow that to flower, it will be beautiful, but it will take the energy away from the bulb that's in the ground. And then I won't have as big a bulb of garlic when I want to harvest it. So if you are planting a hard neck variety, a couple of weeks, maybe a month, depending, you'll want to go in before harvest and snap all these garlic scapes off. Now you know when they're ready to be cut is when they start curling. So if they start curling, then go in and cut them so that all the energy goes into building that bulb and making it nice and big before you harvest.
This is our garlic patch, I guess you could say. We do have this random volunteer tomato plant right here, which is kind of fun. The first 2 rows are a soft neck variety. This is our hard neck, and then this is another soft neck variety. Now, the difference between them, the soft neck doesn't get a scape that runs up the top, and we cut that scape earlier. It's in our fridge. We've been using it kind of as an onion garlic substitute. It's really yummy, so you can eat that. But we cut that scape off so that it gives the bulb more time to grow. Now we know our garlic is pretty much ready to go because if you can see right here on this garlic, the bottom 2 or 3 leaves are completely dried up and the rest of the plant is starting to change colors. We have not watered this for about a week, although it did rain one day this week. So we've just decided they may be having some more thunderstorms and showers this week, so we're just ready to go. If we get farther down the row here, even more are dying down there, the bottom leaves. So that's our sign that these garlic are ready to be picked. So this is our soft neck. It's fairly big, nice and round, and you know, the size of my fist here, my palm. Now this hardneck variety seems to be a lot deeper in the ground, so that's kind of fascinating. I don't know if that's like typical or not. And the bulb itself is a lot smaller, so that's interesting as well. Now I don't know if that's traditional. That makes sense if we're doing like grocery store garlic, right? Because I think at least where we're from, the majority of it is hardneck, so it's a lot smaller than the softneck garlic. So that's really kind of an interesting experiment. I can already smell that garlic. It smells good. So, you know, there's a difference there. The other thing with the hardneck is this scape that's here that we chopped off. It goes all the way down, so it makes this a hard neck, so it doesn't bend or tip over. Whereas this soft neck, we can bend it. It's pretty pliable. And some of the stuff that we've researched says that soft neck, sometimes you don't want to harvest it until this has fallen over. But we figured if we're already harvesting our hard neck because it's all ready, we might as well harvest our soft neck. And I don't think we're going to have an issue. I don't think it's too early. Maybe our soft neck bulbs could have gotten a little bit bigger. I don't know. But we're just trying it out this year. So, hard neck versus soft neck. I wanted to show you down here. You can see with these garlics down here, how many more of the leaves are dying at the end here. So the two bottom leaves and a couple more. So you want it to be about half of your leaves are starting to die. So these maybe could go a little bit longer, but I don't think harvesting them this week is going to make that big of a difference. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but for the most part, if those bottom ones are dying and then the tops of the leaves are starting to die, you're ready for your garlic to be harvested. Now we've got all the garlic picked, but I wanted to show you something. And this is a great visual. So in everything you read, it says, you know, you want to pick your garlic when it's nice and firm and everything is together and it hasn't separated yet. And it's kind of like, well, what does that mean and what does that look like? Here you go. This is a great example. So this is a garlic I pulled today with the other garlics. You can see it's separating. We have a couple of these that just were smaller, and so they developed faster and we just didn't pull them. So there's 3 of them, but it's a great visual on what that means for the garlic to separate. So this will still be good. I can still cure this and we can still use this, but we'll want to use these ones first, like within weeks of them being cured, because they're not going to store long term. Now this one will store long term. We'll get several months out of it because it's enclosed. Nothing's going to get inside. There's not like dirt and gunk inside with those bulbs. But that's a good visual on the difference between a healthy bulb that's ready to harvest and one that's is overripe and needed to be harvested a while ago. And these stems, let me show you. When I went to pull the garlic, it just popped right out of the stem. And the stem actually on this one didn't look any different than these stems. I don't feel like they have that much of a difference. But a couple of these, it was completely like tiny and completely dry and plopped over. There was no green at all. So for the most part, if you're following this rule where a few of these are brown and the top is brown, you're going to get a healthy garlic bulb. But occasionally you might get one that's separated like this. And I just wanted to show you that so you have that visual. I have brought all the garlic up to the garage, and we have this old twin size bed spring that we're not using. It's just sitting in the garage. In fact, it's just been next to my freezer out here. And I think this is a perfect way for us to dry our garlic using something we already have. So you can see here I've already hung up one of my braids. So I've got my other braid with the loop. I'm just gonna step over here, loop it up there so it can dry. And then the rest of my garlic, I can just put in through these springs. Now, one thing you might want to do is make sure you label where you're putting what. I'm going to put my soft neck up here because both of these are soft neck, a different variety, but this is the one variety, and then the other variety I'll put up here as well. So my soft necks are together, and then my hard necks are a little bit smaller, and so I'm going to put them on the bottom or start them lower on this spring. So hopefully you can see here, but I'll just loop it through and leave. You can go with them right next to each other. So I'm out here in the garage. We harvested this garlic about 2 weeks ago, and you can see it's starting to dry. It's looking really good. It's still pretty dirty, but when we go to actually put it in baskets and stuff, you can just see that dirt just comes right off. So it will be all ready to be stored so that we can use it long term. And then here's my braids. They're still looking good. They are starting to shrink a little bit, so you can see I will have to tighten them. A lot of times people won't braid until everything's all dried, but I just wanted to kind of try this method and see how it worked for me before I might braid the rest of it. But it's just so pretty. So that's it. That's how you harvest and preserve your garlic. It's really simple, and you can have a ton. You can produce a ton. So I'm really excited that we have our own garlic that we can choose from, that we know how it was grown, what was put on it, what was in the soil.
Hard neck on the bottom, soft
It's
neck
very
on the
exciting for
top.
us. So let me know if you have any
these will
questions
dry
or
out
comments.
over
Let
the
me know
next couple
if
weeks,
you've grown
and
garlic
I'll
and what
show
your
you
tips
kind
and
of what
tricks
that
are.
looks like.
And
But
we
here
will see
is
you
the
guys
finished
next time.
product. It's gonna look fabulous, and my garage smells so yummy. And I'm gonna have garlic